We'll have to deal with both sides tonight. We have to deal with the Congress party, of course, which has embarrassed our country and compromised our own national interest. We'll deal with the Congress party after 9:30. Let's deal with Pakistan first. And joining us from Pakistan is Syed Tariq Pirzada and Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao. And taking them on, Maroof Raza and Sheshadri Chari. Is it too much to expect an apology? Your Defence Minister Khwaja Asif, I think is his name, he jumped the gun. He got his facts wrong. And now the video is out, and the video proves Syed Tariq Pirzada. We'll open the debate with you, and then it's an open debate after that. It proves this was a terror boat.
Okay.
It proves there was a terror boat.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
B, it proves that all your attempts to raise questions over the evidence have fallen flat. You wanted the evidence, we've released the evidence. You in fact said that there was nobody on the boat. Then you said there were no Pakistani boats which came this side. And then you said if anyone came at all, they were Pakistani fishermen. If there are Pakistani fishermen, why would Pakistani fishermen put their boat on fire? This is clearly a suicide job by trained Pakistani terrorists who are probably attempting a 26/11 kind of operation. So Syed Tariq Pirzada, maybe because your defense minister, like most other Pakistani strategic affairs experts, jumped the gun a few days back, maybe you would like to apologize on behalf of, your prejudiced strategic affairs community.
Let me accuse the state of India for blatantly lying for months.
Sir, the footage
on an
is out.
issue on
Sir,
which
the footage
they
is out.
owe us the apology.
Sir, the footage is out.
Hold on,
Have you not seen the footage? I put the pictures. I put the pictures on the channel.
You said
no. I put the pictures on the channel, and you are a strategic affairs expert.
Your Coast Guard did not shoot at it. You said your Navy did not shoot at it.
So these are pictures. What do you mean you shoot at?
Let me use your information against you. Let me use your information against you.
Please do, but please argue logically.
Responsible officer of the state of India, Mr. Loshali, claims that he, as the head of the operation, ordered
the head of the operation
on this boat.
He's not the head of the operation.
It was a boat that was sunk.
Oh my God! You don't realize.
No, come on.
Sir, please argue logically.
Come on.
He is not the head of the operation.
Let me just finish.
One second. So he is not the head of the operation. I don't know what state he was. Maybe in an intoxicated state he went and made a false claim.
Just like it happened in the case of Sarabjit Singh.
So
you guys denied that he was an agent of India.
Yeah.
Later on, a member of officer of your
let's
community,
get Maroof into this
intelligence
discussion,
community,
because, sir,
Raw's agent,
sir,
said, I quote, yes, he was an agent dispatched by Raw to launch terrorist attacks in Pakistan.
So this is the problem.
This happened.
So this is I'll tell you,
now,
Mr. Pirzada,
it has happened again. Your officer of the state, Mr. Loshali, is claiming that he destroyed the boat. He fired at the boat, and you are in denial against your own officers of the state.
First of all,
you guys are just making no sense.
Okay, so let's, Mr. Pirzada, yes, please. Take a pause, take a sip of that tea, and then let's look at the issue very logically. I'd like to get in Sheshadri Chari. Let's look at the pictures here on the screen, please. I don't know if you've seen them. I'll put them full frame for a minute. What you are going to see, ladies and gentlemen, is a 4-minute clip of footage which shows that this boat is not disintegrated, which proves that there was no externally induced explosion. Had there been a missile or a torpedo fired at the boat, it would have disintegrated, the fire would have been scattered. But in this case, as you see, that's a close-up shot, the fire is from within, it's not from an external source. B, and actually let me get in Maroof on this one. B, the hull of the boat is at its location. There is no displacement of the boat or its parts. Had the boat been destroyed by enemy fire, the likelihood is that its parts would have been displaced. If this boat, this Pakistani boat in which the terrorists were traveling, had indeed been blown off, the fire due to the bullets would not have engulfed the entire boat but would have been concentrated on one part. So this visual evidence, Maroof, proves that the boat burnt and sank in the same position. This is exactly what the government said.
Absolutely.
And now that the Pakistani defense minister has been caught making another messed up statement.
You are hiding the fact that your officer of the state, Mr. Loshali, claims that he ordered the
So what?
fire.
So what?
You are going about. You're
So
talking
what?
about
Nobody is hiding that
torpedoes
fact.
on missiles.
No, it is like you're no, 1 second, one minute. It's like you saying.
You're misleading
So
the Indian people.
that's 1 minute. That's as silly as you saying today. 1 second, Mr. Pirzada. That is as silly as you saying today that you have taken over the Lashkar-e-Toiba. Despite your being a Lashkar-e-Toiba sympathizer, I will find that hard to believe because Hafiz Saeed is in charge. So please understand that. Please understand. There is in this particular case a person of the Indian Coast Guard who has no operational role, who is simply an administrative officer, and I want you to argue with some sense of rationality tonight. Just a little bit of rationality.
Officer, he was the head of the operations.
He wasn't, sir. Don't shout, sir. He wasn't. Maroof.
Arnab,
Oh,
let me
God
sort of
help
put
you
it in
guys.
perspective for Mr. Pirzada. Mr. Pirzada, sir. Mr. Pirzada, please hear me out. We've heard your view. The first point is, you know how the military operates.
Listen
Not
to him.
one
Listen to him,
individual
Mr.
of the rank of
Pirzada.
a
Listen
DIG,
to him.
which is equivalent. Mr. Pirzada, please listen. Please listen. Not one DIG who is the equivalent of a rank of a colonel can take on an operation of this size and magnitude on his own, and this DIG was in the logistics branch. He is not in the operational or executive branch of the Coast Guard, so
he's
therefore
lying.
he could not
Are
have
you saying
executed
he's
that
lying?
operation. The
All right,
sir,
Maroof
please.
Raza, I have a question for you. Very respectfully.
Mr. Pirzada,
Is he
Mr.
lying?
Pirzada, please,
Is the officer
please hear me.
of the state
Please
of
hear
India
me,
lying to the
Mr.
people of India?
Pirzada. Don't keep reinforcing a failure point of view. Please hear me. We have given enough coverage to Loshali's point of view, but Loshali was not the executor of the operation. The second point is that when a 30 cannon, either mounted on a Coast Guard boat or a 30 cannon used from a helicopter gunship, it can be lethal, and the boat will not last on the waters for less than a minute. It can be completely destroyed. In this case, it went up in flames,
It
was
doesn't have to
floating
be
for quite
completely
some time.
destroyed.
Clearly,
You are strategic. You are making an
no,
incorrect
sir.
strategic statement. That is
Hear
not
me
correct.
out.
That is not militarily correct.
Mr. Pirzada,
No,
Mr.
Maroof,
Pirzada,
your knowledge
Mr.
of
Pirzada,
defense
hear me out.
equipment is very
Mr.
poor.
Pirzada,
Come on,
no.
Maroof.
Hear me out.
You're not a man
Don't
of
defend.
weapons. You're
Don't
not
defend
expert
the
in weapons of
indefensible.
war.
Don't defend the no. Sir, will you give me the courtesy of
your
listening to me,
government,
or
Mr.
should I ask you to
Pirzada,
shut
Mr.
up?
Pirzada,
Can you please listen? Mr.
Mr.
Pirzada, give me the courtesy. Mr. Pirzada, I've heard you.
All right,
now
sir.
please keep
Sir,
quiet and
go
listen.
ahead.
There
Sir,
is
go
another point of view. And
Yes,
the point
I'm
of view is that don't clutch at straws in the wind. Don't look for small lies to reinforce your lie. Clearly what has happened, that these guys were on a suicide mission, and when their mission was coming to a knot, they blew themselves up, because this is how suicide terrorists
Exactly.
based on boats operate. If you have any
I have a
idea,
news for
if you
you.
have any idea
Hey,
that how
and
a
this is-
cannon
Arnab,
can destroy
I have
a
news
boat,
for you.
you will
issue-
know that a boat will not set
would
itself
would
on
have been
flames.
a dead issue.
Maroof,
You are getting your facts wrong.
1 second. Maroof, you highlight a very important point. 1 minute, 1 minute, Mr. Pirzada.
You
Okay,
are
1 second.
to- You don't.
That's the
Mr.
problem.
Pirzada, the
One
problem
second.
with you is
I'd like to get Air Marshal Abid Rao. Air Marshal Abid Rao. 1 second. Air Marshal Abid Rao. Maroof.
Air Marshal Rao, sir, don't reinforce a lie.
Air Marshal
People
Rao, can
clutch
you hear
to
me?
straws in the wind, and Loshali has given you that straw in the wind. Clearly, it was an operation that you had launched to create problems in Porbandar,
Without a
where
doubt.
the vibrant
With-
Gujarat
without-
Summit
without-
was taking
without a
place,
single doubt.
to
Without-
basically,
I
can't hear to basically attack a number of businessmen where the Prime Minister was there. It was an operation that went wrong. You keep denying it, like you denied 26/11, when the volume of evidence is all against you. And in this case, there is photographic and film evidence. I don't know what you're defending. Have the courtesy and the strategic expertise to say we got it wrong. End of
You know
story.
what you're doing? Again, let me quote from the
Air Marshal-
incident of Sarabjit Singh.
One Air Marshal-
You guys are denying the undeniable.
Syed Tariq Pirzada.
This
One
has
minute.
happened.
Singh is the
Syed
difference.
Tariq Pirzada, now I will have
This
to come
is
in
a-
and tell you
this is a
something.
boat-
1 minute, gentlemen.
This is a boat-based
on the high
operation.
seas, This
Mr.
is your
Pirzada,
problem.
I know.
And India
I know
wants
it's
to
going to
paint
be
a
hard.
good picture.
It's going
of
to be
its
hard
image
for you to
to
swallow
rise
the
in
truth.
the international arena.
But the truth is,
and that's
Mr.
not going to
Pirzada,
happen.
the truth
We
is
have exposed
that you
you.
got it wrong.
And thanks to
Okay,
Mr.
one
Loshali,
second. Now
who has
I'll
done a
run to
good
the
job.
pictures again, and dear viewers, look at the pictures again, please. If you look at the pictures on your screen, what you are seeing is the Pakistani boat. There were Pakistani terrorists on this. This is a boat that is catching fire from within.
How
Now
do you
the
know
fact
they were
is,
Pakistani terrorists?
one second, please. I'll go to Air
How do
Marshal
you
Abid
know?
Rao next.
Did
If he
they
can
send
hear
you
me,
an
please give me a
email?
thumbs up. One second.
Did they speak with you on Viber or what is it?
Sir, a minute, please. I'm going to Abid Rao next. And as I put these pictures out,
you are incorrectly
Mr. Pirzada, will you please let me ask another Pakistani participant one question? And dear viewers, if you are seeing this, is the logical question you will ask yourself is that after a hot pursuit, the people on board, which are the terrorists, realize there is no escape. Now my question is that if they are simple fishermen, why would they set their own boat on fire and self-destruct and die? There is clearly something to hide, and they set fire to the boat in a suicide mission, but most importantly, Abid Rao, to destroy evidence on board that would have implicated you. Now the growing suspicion is, Air Marshal Rao, that this was a 2611 kind of operation that was being planned, because there is a precedent to this, and that is 2611, and that itself is an indication that Pakistan is involved. Your 2611 attackers, Air Marshal Rao, if you remember, hijacked an Indian boat and used it to reach Mumbai and carry out the attack. The boat in this case, Air Marshal Rao, the one intercepted, is also a fishing boat which is similar to the previous incident, and therefore we had inputs that a fishing boat from Porbandar near Karachi was up to some illicit business in the Arabian Sea, which is what prompted our surveillance operation. This boat had entered Indian territory from Pakistani waters. You can't deny that. You can't deny that. So this boat has entered Indian waters from Pakistani side. The footage shows that the boat was not attacked by the Indian Coast Guard. It set itself on fire. What was being hidden? Tell me, Air Marshal Rao, what were they trying to hide?
Okay, Arnab, the plot of the story is very good for a Bollywood film,
Sir,
but it has a lot of weaknesses.
So
let me take you back to
asked you one
1971
factual point you make. I'll make one factual point to counter you. Go ahead.
Please listen to me now. Your question doesn't end, Let me now speak. I have just heard the long question. You hijacked Ganga in 1971, January, brought it to Lahore. We fell in the trap because the aim was to deny Indian airspace overflights to Bangladesh then. Then there are series of these incidents where India has created a situation itself. Now let me believe what you have said is right. Is there any evidence of the wreckage, of the debris, of the dead bodies? Say again?
You can see the pictures and so can I. What are we talking about here? The evidence is video evidence.
I am seeing, but where is the evidence that this was Pakistani? Isn't 80% of smuggling into India by sea routes? And aren't the smugglers capable of doing that?
Made that point.
You just want to continue with allegations against Pakistan.
No.
So please, your plot is very weak. You can use any adjectives. If the war was to be fought on words, you would have won long time back and every time. That's not true. Now to blame Pakistan for an event like this, I think you are doing harm to your own credibility.
Smugglers don't commit suicide, yes.
No,
and Sheshadri Chari. One second, Maroof, let me get Sheshadri Chari also in. This is a basic flaw, Sheshadri
Okay, your
Chari.
own Ministry of Defence, your own Coast Guards, you can give any explanation whether the man belonged to logistics branch or not to an operational branch.
Sir, I am a strong believer. I am a strong believer.
Arnab, let me complete my thing. Even when your Air Force shot down a Pakistan Navy aircraft in August 1999, inside Pakistan territory, they rushed in a helicopter and picked up the evidence of the wreckage,
Sir, I'll tell you.
So it doesn't speak very good of Indian, intentions.
Okay.
So this was an enough indication that India has made a mistake.
Just 1 minute. I heard you, sir. Sir, I heard you.
Coast Guard people. And then denied by your Ministry of Defence.
I'd like to get Sheshadri Chari into the debate at this point.
I will blame it for being so inert to the whole situation.
Sir,
they should have actually contested that claim earlier enough.
Sir.
Everything that goes wrong in India is not caused by Pakistan.
Sir, that's
why
sir,
does
we
the
would
media
not
want
be,
to play
I
that?
wish you were correct.
You're misguiding your own people.
Sir,
the
please.
Indian nationals should
Sir,
realize the whole media is
Mr.
playing.
Abid Rao,
Are you willing to admit that Ganga was hijacked by India in 1971?
Mr. Abid Rao, I will let Sheshadri Chari, who's the convener of the Foreign Affairs Cell of the Bharatiya Janata Party, respond to you. But before I let Sheshadri Chari come in, I am a firm believer, sir, that what happens in life as well as in politics and diplomacy, when you lie once, you have to lie a second time to cover up the third lie, and then a third lie and a fourth lie, and then you get entangled in a web of your own
I'm sure
lies.
you're looking into the mirror and saying
Sir,
that.
I'm not.
I'm sure you're looking into the mirror.
No,
and
sir,
you're
I'm
doing
looking
that.
at the
embarrassing
statements
your
from
government.
Pakistan.
You're embarrassing your Ministry of Defense.
Sir,
you're embarrassing your guards.
Sir, allow me.
Anything found off coast on the coast of India, you think it comes from Pakistan with bad intention.
Okay, one sec. As I said, let's give Sheshadri Chari a turn, but I am not looking at myself in the mirror. I am looking at Pakistanis in the mirror. I am looking at Imran Khan in the mirror. I am looking at your defense minister in the mirror. I am seeing your foreign office spokesperson in the mirror, because on the 5th of January, Sheshadri Chari, 5th of January this year, the Foreign Office spokesperson of Pakistan says, and I quote, "No boats from Pakistan left." So on the one side, their Foreign Office says no boats from Pakistan. Allow me, sir.
This is what our rep has said today.
Allow me, sir. Sir, 1 minute.
This boat was not from Pakistan.
Sir, yes, but then why does Imran Khan say Pakistani fishermen have been mercilessly killed? Why is there no link between what Tasneem Aslam says and what Imran Khan says and what the defense minister says? Sheshadri Chari, I don't think we are getting any acceptance tonight. What do you think? What is the story this footage says?
Let me address that question.
Sheshadri Chari.
Arnab, let me address that question.
Sheshadri Chari.
Arnab, I think you are wasting your time with these Pakistani gentlemen. I expected Air Marshal Abid Rao to be a little more reasonable.
So did I.
I don't expect Mr. Pirzada, a LET sympathizer who is worse than the mad mullahs of those Lal Masjid whom their own people got killed. Against whom Musharraf ordered an action.
Talk about the incident.
So I don't want to answer to Mr. Pirzada at all, because he is absolutely irrational. But
First
Mr.
of all, you need to
Air
correct
Marshal
your English.
Abid Rao,
You don't answer to anybody. This too is
Air Marshal Abid Rao
sentence.
has raised two questions. Let me come to that. Number one, before I come to Air Marshal Abid Rao's contention, let me tell you, I have inquired with some of the Coast Guard people on the actions that they would normally take in such cases. They said we usually try to identify the target, and once the target is identified, then we come to know whether it is a known target or an unknown target. If it is a fishing boat, if it is a smuggling boat, we know if it is a smuggling boat. We usually approach it with caution, but we go as close as possible to take an action.
Exactly.
But when it is an unknown target, identified but unknown target, it is called identified but unknown target. Usually we keep a distance, because usually what happens is this unknown target, in this case this particular boat which was laden with explosives, can easily come and hit and run. They can come and hit the Indian boat, and both the boats will collide and both the boats will be destroyed. This is what they do usually in the case of war when they want to escape.
There is such a
in this case,
let him, Mr. Pirzada.
Number one. Number two, now Air Marshal Abid Rao says, what is the proof that this was a Pakistani boat? Is it not true that you have to cross the Pakistani waters to come to the Indian waters? Did the boat fall from the heaven suddenly into the sea and appeared out of nowhere? Obviously, it has crossed the Pakistani sea, and any boat that crosses the Pakistani sea limit is under the surveillance of the Pakistani Navy. If it is not, it is absolutely dangerous for Pakistan to have a navy which does not know which boat crosses their borders. Therefore, it's very obvious that either the Pakistani Navy allowed this boat to cross their waters, or they did not know one of their operations at all. Now, if this boat has come from the Pakistani coast the most important element here, he is asking, Air Marshal Abid Rao is asking, is what about the debris? That is the exact thing that the operations part of the ISI has taken care of.
Exactly.
They have obviously instructed the boat
To self-destruct.
that you either land in Porbandar, do your job, finish off all those people who are coming to attend the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas.
Exactly.
Or don't come back, destroy yourself. That
This is the truth.
Destructive mechanism was inbuilt in it.
This is exactly, and the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas was happening at that time.
But let
We
me
know,
address
1
this
minute, sir.
analysis,
1 minute.
which is
So
not an
most of the
analysis, let me
non-resident
take
Indians,
a shot at
prominent
that.
non-resident Indians from around the world, listen to me,
Arnab,
sir, were going to be
wasting our time.
in
Let me
Gujarat
address.
at that point of time. This is a self-destruct mechanism, and Abid Rao, you are a rational person, I think, at least in part. Let me ask you one thing. Your defense minister says 4 of our citizens was killed. He says this on 18th February, right? Your foreign minister says, your foreign ministry says no citizen was killed. Your Imran Khan says Indians blew up Pakistanis. And Pirzada says there was no boat at all. I mean, is there any consistency in your
did not
thinking?
say. This is your Coast Guard head of the operation says.
Okay.
Do not falsify.
Sir, he is not head of the operation.
Arnab, I want to make
This is
one more
absurd.
point here.
This is absurd.
Arnab, one more point.
Absurd.
You guys have
Arnab,
committed.
one more point.
One more point from Mr. Chari. One more point from Mr. Chari. before I go to
Mr.
Arnab.
Mr. Pirzada is quoting that DIG. Mr. Pirzada is quoting that DIG 24 hours after he made that statement. The same DIG said, I was not part of the operations at all.
This is Pakistan bashing.
The DIG says, I was not part of the operations.
Grow up. Come on. Come on.
Arnab, give me 1 minute. I will answer a lot of questions.
Okay. I also have one more question. I also have one more question. One more question.
Officer of your state who claims that he attacked that
Pirzada,
boat and killed the people.
Mr. Pirzada,
and you are
I am
saying
sure
that we are covering up the facts.
Mr. Pirzada, I am sure.
That is a great way.
Mr. Pirzada, I am sure.
Discussion on air.
Mr. Pirzada, I am pretty sure that the ISI is very happy with your command performance tonight. But my question is to
I'm
Abid
sure
Rao.
Raw is very happy with your command.
Let me answer the question.
Okay, I put the footage. I also am asking one more question.
Of professional
Sir, calm down
Pakistan
now,
bashers.
Mr. Pirzada, I don't bash. But unlike other channels, I don't throw underhand deliveries.
Come on, listen to yourself.
Anyway, your
Listen to
cricket
the
team is in
recording of
bad
your
shape.
Interviews, and that'll tell you where do you stand. on that.
Now, my question
Your
is.
problem is you're forgetting. You're again.
Sir,
At the risk of
Mr.
repeating,
Pirzada.
you're forgetting what you did in the case of Sarabjit Singh.
Sir, we
you
will not-
denied that he
were you-
was a planted
Mis-
terrorist.
Mr.
Later on,
Air Marshal
an
Abid Rao.
officer of the Raw,
Air Marshal
retired
Rao.
officer.
Air Marshal Rao.
only.
Yes, he
Yes.
was.
Air Marshal Rao, and as I put the pictures out, I just want to make one more point very, very quickly out here. Let's look at these pictures, and let's look at the pictures, and let's be very logical about it for a minute. Had this been an externally enforced explosion through a torpedo, for instance, this boat would have disintegrated, the resultant fire would have been scattered and not focused in one location. This is a clear case of the boat being burnt up. My question to Abid Rao is, sir, today you accuse India of blowing up your boat. Shouldn't you first answer how you allowed a boat to cross over into Indian waters? What was your Coast Guard doing to stop it? And if they were not stopping them, was this a state-sponsored 2611 kind of operation that you were trying? Because, you've been cornered internationally of late. You desperately need to come back into the headlines, if nothing but as a terror state, in order to continue to get money from the Americans. So maybe this was an attempt to create another 2611 kind of situation.
Question, Arnab.
Sir, my question is simple.
There's a
Were you
conflict
trying to
in your
create a
question.
2611
Let
kind of
me ask-
situation again? That's simple.
No.
That's my question.
In all fairness, Arnab, this would be the last choice to do a thing like this if I have to believe what you're saying is right. Number one. Number two, the correct procedure would have been for India to gather as much of evidence as possible, neither the bodies nor the wreckage nor the
your
good enough
terrorists
debris
destroyed
to
the
prove
evidence.
that this was a Pakistani boat.
Sir, except Kasab,
No, because in
everybody
2611 also you use the evidence like, milk packets and matchboxes and
No,
things
we
like
had
that.
a man called
And because
Kasab
they
in our
were
custody.
Pakistanis,
You've forgotten
therefore
that.
they came.
No, we had Kasab in our custody.
When we
A
have
live
these
Pakistani
terrorists having
terrorist in
Indian
our-
weapons, it will be
so were
incorrect
you
to say
trying to
that
do a
India is
26-11?
doing this, although there is other evidence.
So were
to
you
this.
trying to do a 26-11 here? Was this a rogue part of the
No,
ISI?
there is no question.
Was this a rogue
there
ISI
is no
operation?
question of that. Pakistan cannot afford a thing like this.
I'm glad you
We should
realize
be
it,
very
but I
clear
don't think the
about it.
ISI
And
does.
we-
Gentlemen,
we are very clear about
at this
it.
point, I
Number
don't
one.
think I'll get any more
The normal
answers from our
procedure-
Pakistani guests. So I'm going to say thank
Arnab,
you to them because my greater question tonight, and the most important question is the most important question.
Shooting down of Indian
Mr. Abid Rao, I thank you and I thank Syed Tariq Pirzada. Now Randeep Surjewala of the Congress Party is here to defend the Congress. And Maroof Raza stays on. D Bakshi joins the panel. Admiral Raja Menon is joining the panel. He's a security expert. And let's debate. Randeep Surjewala, if you can hear me. Mr. Surjewala, are you there? He's just putting his earpiece on. Let me begin by asking Admiral Raja Menon. Admiral Raja Menon, do you think the Congress Party has egg on its face? Do you think it jumped the gun too early on this one?
Well, anyone who says that the boat was fired at is wrong. Even from the limited duration of the video that has been shown, many things are very clear. One of them is the range at which the video was taken. The second is the absence of the Coast Guard vessel was armed with a medium caliber gun. It had no torpedoes or anything, and if the fire was caused by a medium caliber gun, you would have seen the tracers hitting the boat and creating the fire, which is not visible. You can see that there's been some spontaneous combustion on the boat, and you can also see that most likely the cause of the combustion was an oil fire. It looks like an oil fire. So there are a number of things that one can make out from just looking at a short clip of the video. There is absolutely no evidence that the boat was fired at, because yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, that's quite clear.
And there is no evidence that the boat was fired at.
Yeah.
So,
But you see, Admiral Raja Menon, what the Congress Party had said undermined our country, and I think today all of us on the panel would ask for an explanation from the Congress Party, wouldn't we, General Bakshi? Because I think what the Congress Party did day before yesterday was undermine India. What the Congress Party did was undermine Indian interests by doubting the government of India and playing into Pakistani hands. General Bakshi.
You know, Arnab, I am truly amazed by the level of credulity that prevails in this country as regards to counter-terrorist operations. This Coast Guard ship, Arnab, was armed with a 30mm gun.
yes,
It could have blown
On
this
the
boat to
channel.
smithereens. And had that gun been used, there would have been disintegrated bits of the ship all over. We could have recovered a lot of, floating debris. That is what happens when these kind of ships, fishing boats, are engaged by armament, and especially a 30mm cannon. To those who do not know, on the BMPs of ours, we have 30mm cannons. The aircraft have 30mm cannons and 23mm cannons, and they can wreak mayhem. This was not used. This boat has burned for 4 hours because it was specifically set on fire to destroy evidence.
Okay.
Even if this boat had been destroyed by our Coast Guard, Arnab, it would have been very much the right thing to do. It is only in this country that the Congress bleeding hearts will shed crocodile tears about the death of 4 heroin smugglers. The same kind of smugglers had brought in the explosives in 1993. 200 Indians had been killed and 700 wounded. The Congress is quite happy with these kind of Indian casualties, but it does not want terrorists to die. It does not want heroin smugglers to die.
Yeah. See, I think Mr. Randeep Surjewala, I think, one second, I think I'll go to the Congress Party. Sir, For 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Let me have my say. At the beginning, I tonight on the channel would lot of people would feel the way that I do, and I feel, sir, that you undermined your own country. A. B. You undermined Indian interests. C. You brought down the morale of our security forces. D. You contradicted your country and you went with Pakistan by doubting whether those people on board were terrorists. E. Without any evidence to base or believe the DIG, and even when we pointed out that this DIG has no operational command, so why were you with the Pakistani defense minister who has been proven wrong today? The entire country would want to know from the Congress party, sir, which side are you on? On India's side or on Pakistan's side, Mr. Surjewala? Because this case makes me doubt why you are on Pakistan's side on an issue like this. You may have your domestic political compulsions, but this is just absolutely unacceptable, Mr. Surjewala. Please explain yourself or apologize.
Arnab, let me begin by saying I've heard all the charges that you've leveled against the Indian National Congress. Coming from a journalist as seasoned and experienced as you, let me begin by saying they are preposterous and they are totally untrue. I held that press conference myself, and I think you have a recording of that with your channel. We congratulated the Coast Guard for the heroic act in preventing a possible terror or a smuggling act that could be a possible threat to the Indian coast. The questions that we raised were like this. Let me repeat, and I hope you have the patience to listen. Number one.
1 minute. 1 minute.
We said if it was a terror attack.
I must counter you there. I must counter you for a minute. Because I would repeat once again, Mr. Surjewala, that you have been proven wrong on both your counts today. And the reason I'm asking you to apologize is because you even questioned where the government of India lied to the nation and built up a case against Pakistan. You compared the modus operandi to the DIG's claim based upon this dubious DIG's claim to fake encounters. I want to ask you again whether you will apologize for branding the government of India a liar and comparing the incident to a fake encounter. When there is evidence tonight that the boat caught fire on its own, sir, you allowed the Pakistani Defense Ministry to latch on to your comment. You are an experienced, you are as very experienced politician. Don't you know the consequences of compromising your country?
Arnab, now can I say? Please do not treat the Indian National Congress like Pirzadas of the Pakistan. I take very strong objection to that.
I am
and I want to register my strongest possible objection on your channel today.
I am questioning what your Congress party has said in the past.
I heard you patiently, and I'll keep quiet till you.
Sir, I would again place tonight. I have every right, Mr. Pirzada, to ask you these questions because of what you said. Now, please proceed. I won't stop you, but I will maintain tonight. I am absolutely right, Mr. Pirzada, Mr. Surjewala, in asking you these questions. Yes.
That's why I said, please do not compare the Indian National Congress to Pirzada of Pakistan. He is not on this channel. I think that was the earlier show. Now let me point out 3 facts to you, Arnab, and I let you, as a very senior anchor, as also the viewers judge. Number 1. The unequivocal stance that the Indian National Congress took in an official press conference, contents of which are even now available over the internet, was this. Number 1, we said we congratulate the Coast Guard for foiling a possible terror smugglers attack, since the Defence Ministry had not clarified, but it could be a possible threat to the Indian coast in the state of Gujarat, as also in Mumbai and other areas, on the night of 31st. Number 2, we said Defence Minister must come out clearly and say whether there were terrorists, what connection did they have to their bosses in Pakistan, whether ISI or Defence Ministry of Pakistan were involved, and if it is true, then strongest possible protest and preventive action needs to be taken to protect our coasts as also life of our people. Number 3, we also said that this matter needs to be taken up at the level of the Prime Minister of India with Prime Minister of Pakistan, and necessary preventive measures by the Indian Navy and our Coast Guard to protect not only the
Why
are you not taking action against Pakistan?
No, can I intervene, gentlemen? 1 second. First of all, first of all, 1 minute, gentlemen, 1 minute. First of all, just 1 minute.
Fall into the trap of the Pakistanis.
Mr. Chari.
Absolutely
Mr. Chari, 1 minute. Mr. Surjewala, 1 minute. Can I have 30 seconds
I'm
from
sorry,
both of you?
Arnab,
No, from both of you, I want 30 seconds.
I
want 30 seconds from both of you. Sir, I want 30 seconds. I want 30 seconds
We
from
will
both of you.
ask in national interest
Sir, I want
as to why is your government not taking preventive action? We will continue to ask the Prime Minister of this country, he doesn't belong to BJP alone, as to why are we not taking action against those who are. You also remember you left terrorists in Kandahar, Afghanistan. You must not remember that Maulana Masood Azhar.
You have also lowered the prestige of this country. You have also given Pakistan a hand to deal with you. You have also dealt with Pakistan. Actually, you have played on the side of Pakistan. That is the most dangerous part of the whole game.
Okay. Can I, gentlemen,
done this? No,
gentlemen.
Arnab Goswami, I am not going to stop unless Mr. Surjewala stops.
Mr. Surjewala, 1 minute. Now, can you both?
Parroting absolute nonsense.
Okay, both of you stop
and
for
what he is saying goes against the interest and defense of this country.
Okay, gentlemen.
Well, you must know what kind of language you use. I don't think so. You have any such nonsensical right.
I am repeating my words. You have brought down the dignity of this country.
It is Bharatiya Janata Party's defense minister who has
you can say anything about Bharatiya Janata Party.
The known
you can say anything about Bharatiya Janata Party. But don't suspect the intentions of our forces.
If it was a terror attack, Why is it that government of India is keeping
Mr.
mum?
Surjewala, may
Why
I please, Mr. Surjewala, if you allow me, may I, Mr. Surjewala, come in 1 minute between both of you? I just want 10 seconds. Please let me. Thank you. Just give me 10 seconds. First of all, I know there is passion on both sides. I am requesting both sides to keep tempers.
Arnab, please don't use these words, passion on both sides. I am not talking on behalf of the BJP. I am talking on behalf of the Defence Ministry.
Okay,
I am talking on behalf of the Coast Guard. I am talking on behalf of the forces.
Yes. Now, Mr. Chari, I understood your point. Just give me 5 seconds because I wanted to counter a point made earlier. Because in the course of his introductory remarks, Mr. Surjewala objected to everything which I said. Now, Mr. Surjewala, I can see what you are trying to do today is that you are trying to say that what Manish Tiwari said was on his own. I have nothing to do with it. I am the official spokesperson. Official spokespersons never took a position which was anti-India. Now, my question to you, Mr. Surjewala, I presume you will admit that Ajay Maken is the official point of view of the Congress party. Ajay Maken, right, had a press conference. He was there also that day. He directly accused the Defence Minister of India. And he directly sided with this DIG. Yes. So the visual evidence of what has happened today is now with me. It debunks the DIG's theory, which Pakistan used, that this boat was blown off, and backs the government's claim that the boat was set on fire. You, sir, you as in the Congress party had given absolute credence to the DIG's theory. And today, sir, I insist once again, I request you to consider the possibility, without any ego or prevarication or concern for what may be the political consequences of what you do, Mr. Surjewala, as a spokesperson of the Congress party, to consider apologizing on television tonight for having given the views of the DIG more weight than that of the government. Now this DIG is proven to be a bombastic possible liar.
Let me answer that.
So no, 1 second. And by the way, you said the Defence Minister has not said it's a terror attack. That's all the Parrikar has been saying.
Congress holds no brief for any DIG.
Sir, you did. Sir, I'm sorry you did. You accused the Defence Minister of threatening the DIG. I'm sorry. And now I'll pull out the papers. Mr. Surjewala, Ajay Maken said A, and this exact verbatim, you can call up Ajay Maken live on the program. He said Defence Ministry is taking the issue lightly. It is not good to take such an issue lightly. The Defence Minister of India is threatening the Coast Guard DIG. The DIG should not be threatened. These were his words. I'm asking you once again, will you consider apologizing for what you did 2 days back?
Arnab, let us not twist things.
Sir, I am not twisting a word. Not one word.
Let me repeat, neither Mr. Maken nor Mr. Tiwari
no, Mr. Makan's words I quote.
That is contrary to what has transpired.
No, 1
second. We said very, very clearly, sir, and I quote both, and I speak also on behalf of both of them.
Maroof, sir, you said.
And what we said was this.
Sir, 1 minute.
Yes,
sir, you wanted to corner the government.
Yes, it seemed like a terror boat was emanating.
What?
No, we wanted to ask the government to lodge a very serious protest against the so-called terror incident.
Sir, you said a lot more.
Please take out. Okay. I held the official press conference.
I'm quoting you. I'm quoting to you.
And I said 3 things very categorically.
Sir,
please have the patience to hear me.
Sir, this is what Parrikar said on the 5th of... No, sir, you have the patience. So 1 minute, Mr. Surjewala. Mr. Surjewala, now I must request you on the 5th of January. On the 5th of January 2015, Parrikar said, and I quote, I don't know how it escaped your attention. He said, I think I would without doubt classify them as suspected or possible terrorists as they committed suicide. Why would smugglers stay in touch with Pakistani maritime authorities? Why would smugglers stay in touch with the army? Why would smugglers commit suicide? Why would smugglers be in touch with international contacts? Parrikar said on the 5th of January that they are terrorists. I have just proven to you. You just said 2 minutes back. Why did he not say they are terrorists?
Parrikar said on the 5th. On 6th of January.
Sir, this is Parrikar's comment.
I held a press conference of 6th of January.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah, Mr. Parrikar's comment on 4th of January were, and I'm reading to you,
sir,
that this boat was carrying an illicit transaction.
Sir, Ajay Kumar.
So
Ajay Kumar of your party.
What is the illicit transaction?
Sir, 1 second. Sir, Mr. Surjewala, Ajay Kumar. Now tell me, Mr. Surjewala, on the 4th of January.
They were terrorists. Okay, so the government of India
sorry, Mr. Surjewala, I'm going to pit my information against yours. My information is that on the 4th of January. On the 4th of January, you had a press conference in the Congress party. It was addressed by party spokesperson Ajay Kumar. Ajay Kumar went by these sort of Indian Express media reports and he said government should come clean on it. How can you say that a terrorist attack was prevented? How can you come to the conclusion that it was a terrorist boat? These are his words. All of this is very, very strange. How can there be a terrorist organization behind it? These are exactly the kind of words, Mr. Surjewala, that Pakistan would have loved to hear. Following this, and now I'll come to the point. Following this, sir, on the 5th of January, Parrikar responded by saying, of course it was terrorists. Why would smugglers be in touch with Pakistani maritime authorities, army, international contacts and commit suicide? So the matter was settled. Now comes along this DIG. And after the DIG's comment, since you spoke about Manish Tiwari says the Defence Minister, he tweets, what is a bigger sin, blowing up the Pakistani boat or lying to the nation? Sir, you accuse the Defence Minister of your country of lying to the nation, of cooking up a story vis-a-vis Pakistan. These are all quotes. Tell me which of my quotes is wrong tonight. Mr. Surjewala, prove to me one quote of mine which is wrong.
I shall tell you.
One fact.
I shall tell you. You selectively missed.
I don't do anything selectively, sir.
Then after Mr. Parrikar's statement held a press conference on 6th of January 2015, and I say so on record, sir.
What are you doing?
And we said we congratulate the Coast Guard for having done what they have done in blowing up the boat, but we request the Defence Minister,
but the boat was not blown up.
To lodge the
boat was, even now you are saying blown.
Categorically
Maroof,
said,
I'll let
this
Maroof
was a terrorist incident.
Sir, I'll let Maroof come in.
We request Prime Minister to take action.
Sir,
we request Defence Minister to take action.
Sir,
we request Prime Minister and Defence Minister to tell
Sir,
what are they going to do to ensure that such possible terrorist incidents are protected in future, prevented in future. And what are they going to do to ensure that perpetrators of this particular crime are punished?
And 3 minutes on the debate, Mr. Surjewala, I insist and I say and I repeat with all the force in my command that if someone is being selective tonight, Mr. Surjewala, with the greatest of respect to you, it is you and not me. And the last question here vindicates my stand. In this press release, the last question here, and I'm holding it up, I have not printed this out in the Times Now newsroom. The Congress party wrote this. Whether the boat was attempting to commit a 2611 type incident, Maroof, they ask, or whether it was trying to bring in narcotics. You're actually building a case that these are poor little Pakistani smugglers and not terrorists. Why are you doing that? This is your question, not mine. Maroof,
you're trying to read out to you the Defence Minister's statement of 3rd of January, which said this was an illicit transaction.
Sir, is this your statement?
We said it is possibly.
So what are you doing?
If it is possibly a terrorist incident, then let us take action against those who are perpetrating terror on Indian soil.
Maroof, we saw 2611 happen in your time, sir. Don't forget that. Maroof is responding to you. Maroof, please.
Arnab, I just want to bring 4 or 5 quick points. I don't want to point fingers at anybody. But the first issue is that all the military wisdom available on this panel and anywhere you check out with people in military establishment, I've operated with vehicles which have 30 mm cannon, and believe me, it can blow an armor-plated helicopter out of the sky. So a wooden boat is peanuts for a 30 mm cannon if they decided to use it. The second point which I wish to make is that there was enough evidence that was piling up in the country that Pakistan and their terror mentors in Islamabad and Rawalpindi were planning for another 2611 as a big bang event to get them back into reckoning, ever since the Lashkar-e-Toiba and others have in recent years been crippled because of international pressure. They wanted to get back and be the terror party that Pakistan's army should rally with. Hafiz Saeed, it's well known, now is an advisor to the Pakistan army on its strategy to deal with India and proxy wars. The third point I wish to bring out is that whether it was a terror boat or Pakistani smugglers, they were clearly operating in Indian waters with intent that were malicious. And if they were blown up, which I don't think is the case, but even if they blew themselves up, why are so many people shedding tears for them? Is national interest more important, or the lives of 4 bloody Pakistani smugglers? Why don't we get real? And what is Mr. Surjewala and Mr. Tiwari and everybody defending their Congress regime's track record? After 2611, Manmohan Singh says Pakistan sponsors terror as an act of policy from across the Indian territory. And then he does there is a trust deficit. You have Mr. Anthony who does a flip-flop on his statement in Parliament. And we are expected to now say that whatever the Defence Minister of India is saying is something which is unbelievable, because he is the Defence Minister of another party. Now, is party interest more important or national interest?
That is a very
we are our worst enemies. For heaven's sake, let's unite.
Well, that's absolutely correct. And Admiral Raja Menon, final point to you, did the Congress party jump the gun or not? From a strategic perspective, did they jump the gun or not?
Yeah, well, after the Defence Minister had made a very reasoned statement to take up the case on the basis of that small video given by that DIG, which sounded to me like complete nonsense, was, I think, a little irresponsible.
Absolutely it was. And I'm actually surprised that certain media groups also jumped the gun on the story and took it so seriously, gave it full credence and went completely by it. I think this was a big mistake. But for the Mr. Surjewala, you don't accept my position. I think privately you might. Mr. Chari, Maroof Raza and Admiral Menon, thank you very much for joining me on debate number 1.